Radon? Don't know. Radon sounds better. They are a direct-to-consumer brand. I've got the Radon Swoop Hybrid 9, which is the higher level of the two that they do. It's €3,999, which right now is around £3,500. Spec-wise, it's got Bosch motor, it's got Fox, DPX2 Shark, Fox 36 performance fork, it's got DT Swiss rims, Shimano XT, derailleur, shifter. It's actually, on paper, really good spec. In fact, probably the best priced spec for spec bike that you can get right now. It's obviously an e-bike. When you look at it, it's got the battery mounted onto the frame. It's got the motor bolted onto the frame as well. Personally, it doesn't look the most attractive bike to me, but it doesn't offend me. I don't look at it and think, nah, I don't like that at all. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head out to the trails, test it out, and give it a review. Now, first up, I wanted to share how I want to rate and review bikes, because it can be quite difficult, and you can get into loads of fine bits of detail like, I don't know, loads of charts and all that kind of stuff, but I want to keep it really simple. So I've created the e-bometer. I am going to rate all bikes on this scale. So, 2 axes, fun, low fun, boring, high fun, makes you feel good, is exciting, looks great, just gives you that real good feeling inside when you're on it. And that's what mountain biking's about, isn't it? It's just feeling good. And secondly, value. Is it poor value? Is it really expensive and doesn't represent good value for money? Or is it excellent value in that, you know, the best in class, you're getting great bang for buck? The absolute sweet spot is up here. I know that R&D costs a lot of money. I know that to get innovation, it's going to cost. Sometimes that cost is passed on to us. So are you getting great value? Perhaps, but you know, if you can get the same amount of fun by having a bike that's up here, then you're on to an absolute winner. One of the most popular bikes right now, one of the most fun bikes to ride here, I would say. In terms of value, I think you're getting a great bike, but it is a lot, it's gonna cost you, just down there. But it's a £9,000 bike, Fantic Integra 160. I didn't find it a very fun bike to ride, and it's quite expensive. Kind of puts it down there. I'm gonna plot all the bikes I review on here. It's really basic, but it helps me and hopefully you visualize where I think bikes sit on my e-bometer. So what we'll do is we'll take out the Radon, give it a burn, hit some hills, trails, all that good stuff, and we'll come back and we'll see where it fits. So the Bosch motor, if you can hear it, it's not as loud as I remember some of the Bosches being. In fact, it's not too dissimilar to the Shimano. The power delivery on it is pretty good in EMTB mode. It's reacting to the amount of torque you're putting through the pedal. It just feels like a good motor. It is a bit bigger, it is a bit bulkier, it's a bit heavier than some of the newer magnesium case motors. If you can hear it, it's not bros quiet, but it is not by any means super noisy. You know, it's pretty punchy. The turbo mode is really on off. So EMTB mode is like the best mode. In fact, the others I don't really like the other modes at all. It's just almost like I'm exclusively using EMTB mode because it's just the most natural feeling. So Bosch have got a good kind of natural motor feeling with that. It is powerful when you need it to be. The bike worked amazingly well at the bike park with the longer travel, the geometry, gave me loads of confidence. I'm not the biggest bike park or downhill rider, but I felt really comfortable throughout the day getting on the steeper and steeper stuff, trying to jump it a little bit more, and I had real trust in the Fox suspension. The frame felt good, felt nimble enough to take the corners at a fairly decent speed, but also had enough travel to really soak up my mistakes and some of the bigger jumps at the bike park. I'm going to do a little trail now just to see how nimble it is. DT Swiss 29er hoop. I like the way it just tips in. It's feeling way more nimble than it should. Yeah, straight over these little rooty sections. All right. Has no right to feel as nimble as it does. It makes you smile down here. Ooh. Nice. Yeah. Oh, feels good over this more technical, rooty, stumpy stuff. Just a little blast on the Bosch motor. Give it a bit more momentum. Hit this little drop. Yeah. Next one. Woo. Ooh. I like this bike. What a great little trail bike. Well, it's not even trail, it's more travel. Puts into the Enduro category for mountain bikes, but it can handle a trail no problems whatsoever. 2019 is the year of a e-mountain bike where stuff's getting way more accessible, pricing's coming down, direct consumer brands are just almost unbeatable at this price point. Wow, what a nice ride. I am actually really surprised, I know I've said it already, but how agile it feels just on the trail, because it is fairly long in the chainstay department and it's a 29er with a Bosch motor on, which is a little bit heavier, but it does enough to feel nimble. I was expecting it to feel way lazier than it does, but I am very pleasantly surprised. Ooh, little pedal strike, and it just goes around these corners with ease. Bosch motor past this limiter. The bike's totally silent other than the hub. I did not expect it to feel agile like this. It just sticks. Just a dab of back brake. And the longer chainstay, not too distracting for the tighter stuff. I do find I have to shift my weight back to get your weight over the rear, more so than you would on a short chainstay bike, but it's just a matter of adapting your style, and it only takes one ride, even half a ride, to realise that you're going to need to get your weight further back. Oh boy. This. You can tell that I'm liking this. Wow. Did not expect it to feel like that. Sorry, I'm laughing like a small child. I just get excited riding bikes. And that's what we do it for, isn't it? If it makes you laugh and makes you smile, then that is what mountain biking is all about. Whew. I am quite blown away with how it feels. Radon, you have done a great job. I think this is your first e-bike, or maybe, I don't know, but I know it's based on the Swoop, and I know the Swoop's very, very highly regarded, and it seems that this bike is just following in its footsteps with another great package from the German bikediscount.de. So, you know, if you're looking for an e-bike, you do not need to spend, I repeat, you don't need to spend 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand. I mean, all those bikes come with their own unique advantages, but this is a sorted trail, all mountain enduro bike, and it is, or it has exceeded my expectations, because I hadn't read about it, I hadn't seen any marketing, I wasn't like super pumped when I heard about it, and it's not until I've ridden it that I've realised how capable it is. So yeah, this bike brings a smile to your face, it makes you laugh, it gives you a good time, it is highly capable, it just feels nimble, balanced, even with a long chainstay. The 29 wheels just roll over anything, and it feels good. How did it feel? What did I think of the bike? So, 100 kilometers, I've done bike parks, trail centers, dry sunny days, torrential rain and really, really muddy days, and I can tell you that I really, really enjoyed riding this bike. It has a long chainstay, and I thought that that would really impact how agile and how playful the bike would feel. It did a little bit, but I learned to shift my weight around on the bike to help me with the berms, and in no way did I feel that it really impacted the way that the bike rode. Would I like a shorter chainstay? Yeah, probably, but don't let that 499mm chainstay put you off the bike, because it didn't feel lazy, it didn't feel sluggish, I didn't struggle to maneuver it around. Once you've weighted the bike correctly, it was a non-issue at all, and I really thought that I might not like the length of the chainstay. The Bosch motor I grew to really, really like. EMTB mode was great. I didn't really use any of the other modes. They almost are totally irrelevant because I don't like the feeling of them, but EMTB mode on the Bosch motor, the performance of it on the chunkier stuff at the bike park, it was enough travel to deal with all of that. It really gave me that confidence to hit some of the chunkier stuff. I started to jump a bit more on it. I learned to trust the bike a little bit more. I had a really, really great time at the bike park. On the hills, in the twistier, more natural trails, it tracked really, really well. I did change the tyres out. I felt that the stock Schwalbe tyres, the sidewalls just didn't give me enough. They didn't feel like they had enough strength in the sidewalls. Now, I do run a slightly lower pressure. I run around about 20 PSI, and some people run much higher than that, and those tyres would be okay. But for me, I wanted to get something that had a bit of a stiffer sidewall, so I put the Maxxis Minions on there, and I really like those tyres. They worked really well on the bike. The bike's a 29er, and I love 29 wheels, so I think that helped with the rollover. I really like the way that the 29ers track and hit the terrain, and I felt that on paper you may think that it's got long chainstay 29er wheels, it's going to feel quite lardy, but it didn't at all. So the whole package together, the Bosch motor, the Fox components, the XT drivetrain, the travel, felt good. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think I would like it, and I grew to really, really like it. A couple of things to mention. You can't charge it with the battery in the bike. That really annoyed me. You have to take the battery off to charge it. Don't know why, it's just the way that they've designed it. The battery charging port is just under there, so you need the key, you need to take it out and you need to charge it. Also, when I was washing it, there's quite a bit of crap that builds up in this. There's a little kind of trough, a little cutout, and in there, that's where water and stuff builds up, and it just ends up kind of, there must be a small hole, but I think if it gets blocked, you just get a load of crap built up in there. Stock tyres didn't work for me, so I needed to change those. The dropper post stopped rising, stopped operating properly, but that was my fault. You can't over tighten the seat post clamp, because if you do, it just grips the dropper too tight, so just something to be aware of. But in terms of where it fits on the e-bometer, this is going to be interesting. Value, incredible value for money. It's going up here. It's still a lot of money. £3,500 is a lot of money to spend on a bike, but relatively, it represents outstanding value. So it's up here. In terms of fun and how does it make you feel, it's not the prettiest bike to look at, but riding it is a fun bike to ride. I got a lot out of this bike. I really enjoyed it, and it's very versatile. It's not just built for downhill. The geometry lends itself to trail riding. It's nippy enough, it's agile enough. It's not as playful as the Shuttle or the Levo, but it can do a lot. There's a lot that you can tackle on this bike. You don't need to worry about running out of trouble for the chunkier stuff, or you don't need to worry that it's too lardy and too slack and too much travel for trail riding, because it can cope with all of that. So the Radon Swoop, value, very, very good. And in terms of fun, I'm going to pop it around here. There you go. So right now it's the first bike, and I've got loads more bikes to test and review, but it's a fun bike to ride and it represents outstanding value for money. So check it out. It's direct to consumer. I would have no problem recommending this bike to friends and family and to you. Hopefully you got a lot from the review. If you like the format, let me know in the comments and subscribe for all the new reviews, and I will catch up with you all soon.